Do you know your dog has been playing you, and your cat? They've been running the show this whole time. And here's the kicker. They're doing it because they actually understand how you're feeling better than your best friend does. You know that look they give you when you're upset, when you're lying in bed sick, when you grab your keys to leave? That's not some hardwired survival thing. That's them reading you like a book. And the science behind it? It's absolutely wild. Over the next minutes, I'm going to show you cold scientific evidence that proves your pet isn't just going through the motions. They're actually thinking, feeling real emotions, and making choices based on how you feel. But here's what really matters. By the time we're done here, you're going to catch your pet doing something you've seen 100 times before. Except now you'll finally understand what it actually means. And trust me, once you see it, there's no going back. Look, you're watching this video because a part of you already knows something's up. You've had those moments where your pet just shows up next to you when you're having a rough day. They stick closer than usual when you're not feeling well. They completely shift their vibe based on yours without you saying a single word. Those moments hit different because they feel way too deliberate to be coincidence. And guess what? You're absolutely right. Because what everyone writes off as cute pet behavior is actually them being emotionally aware in ways we're only beginning to understand. Okay, so here's where it gets crazy. Neuroscientists at Emory University did brain scans on dogs while they looked at their owners, and they found that the exact same part of the brain lights up as it does in humans when we look at someone we're in love with. So when your dog looks up at you, they're not just thinking, "Oh, hey, that's the person who feeds me." They're feeling something we'd absolutely call love. But wait, this isn't just limited to dogs. Do you know that elephants literally hold funeral ceremonies? And crows? They remember faces and hold grudges for years. There's a gorilla who used sign language to tell researchers she was scared of dying. We're not talking about instinct here anymore, we're talking about genuine emotional complexity. And look, this matters way more than it might seem at first. Because if we're getting it wrong about how emotionally intelligent our pets actually are, then we're probably also missing the mark on what they need, what stresses them out, and what actually hurts them. But when you start to really get how they think and feel, everything about your relationship with them shifts. So let's dive into the most mind-blowing discovery first. Here's the thing that absolutely floored researchers. Your pet doesn't just pick up on your emotions. They literally absorb them into their own system. Researchers once ran an experiment where dogs watched their owners struggle to open a container. Some owners acted calm, others acted distressed and frustrated. When given the chance to help, the dogs rushed to help nearly 3 times faster. But here's what actually shocked everyone. When they tested the dog's stress hormones afterwards, the dogs who helped had elevated cortisol. And if you're thinking, okay, cool, but that's just dogs being dogs, wait till you hear what cats are actually doing. It completely flips the script. So researchers studied how cats behave around their owners during different emotional states. When owners were going through depression or sadness, cats deliberately spent way more time physically close to them, and here's the wild part. They'd purr at this specific frequency that's actually been shown to help with healing and calming stress in humans. Just let that marinate for a second. Your cat sitting on your chest when you're feeling like garbage. That might not be them just wanting warmth. They might genuinely be trying to help you feel better. Not because they're programmed to, but because they actually care. But empathy isn't all sunshine and warm feelings, because if our pets can tune into our emotions like this, does that mean they can feel grief too? And if they can, what happens inside them when they lose someone they're bonded to? You've probably heard the story of Hachiko, right? That dog who showed up at the same train station every single day for almost 10 years, waiting for an owner who'd already died. Scientists went back and studied his patterns, and what they found was heartbreaking. His behavior matched almost perfectly with what humans show during prolonged grief disorder. Losing his person fundamentally changed him, the same way loss changes us. But here's a small bit of hope in all this. When pets get extra love and a stable routine after experiencing loss, they bounce back emotionally way faster than you'd think. They're tougher than they look, and they heal, just like we do. So we know pets can feel empathy, and we know they can grieve. But emotional depth doesn't explain everything they do, because there's something else your pet's been doing right under your nose. They've been thinking their way through problems. Ravens have been documented solving these insanely complex puzzles using multiple tools in the right order, planning out their moves before they even start. That's literally thinking ahead. But you don't need a genius-level bird to see this kind of intelligence. It's happening in your house right now. That cat who's figured out that knocking stuff off your nightstand gets you out of bed. That dog who fake limps to get sympathy. That pet who's trained you to feed them at the exact same time every day. They're not acting randomly. They spotted a problem, they test solutions, and they keep doing what works. That's not conditioning, that's strategy. But there's this one thing dogs do that most people think is totally random, and it's actually proof they understand what you're trying to tell them. So get this, dogs are literally the only animals on the planet that naturally understand human pointing. When you point at something, your dog doesn't just look at your finger like an idiot. They know you're trying to show them something. They get the concept of shared attention. They understand what's going on in your head when you communicate. That's not just obedience or training. That's recognizing that you have thoughts and intentions separate from theirs. For the longest time, scientists were convinced that only humans had this thing called theory of mind, which is basically the ability to understand that other beings have their own thoughts and perspectives. Then dogs went and blew that theory wide open. There was this experiment where dogs were shown two boxes. One had treats, one was empty. When a stingy person was watching, someone who clearly wouldn't share, the dogs deliberately led them to the empty box. But when a generous person was in the room, they went straight for the box with the treats. That means they understood what each person knew and acted accordingly. Your dog isn't just responding to commands. They're actively figuring you out. But that brings up an even heavier question. If animals can understand emotions, read intentions, process loss, can they understand the concept of death itself? When an elephant in a herd dies, the others don't just move on. They stay with the body, sometimes for days. They touch it with their trunks. They cover it with leaves and dirt. And here's what really gets me. They come back to those bones years later, standing quietly, gently touching them like they're remembering. That's not survival instinct kicking in. That's something closer to mourning, to memory. And then you've got crows who are on a whole other level. Crows can recognize individual human faces and hold on to that memory for years. If you mess with a crow, they don't just remember you. They literally teach other crows to recognize your face and avoid you. They pass grudges down like family stories. That's not just smart. That's cultural transmission. That's long-term memory with emotional weight. There's something happening in your home right this second that you probably don't even notice. Your pet is syncing your emotional frequency. When you're stressed out, their stress goes up. When you finally relax, they settle down too. It's called emotional contagion, and it runs both directions. Some dogs can sense seizures minutes before they happen. Others can literally smell when someone's blood sugar is dropping. They're picking up on tiny signals from your body that you're completely unaware of. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you live in constant stress, your pet lives in that stress too. They're carrying that weight right alongside you. But there's good news. When you regulate your emotions, they regulate theirs too. Your breathing pattern, your tone, the energy you're putting out, it all directly impacts their nervous system. You're not just training them with treats and commands. You're shaping them emotionally just by existing around them. So here's everything you just learned. Your pet isn't just hanging out next to you on autopilot. They're emotionally connected to you. They think about what you're thinking. They adjust themselves based on how you're feeling. They experience real empathy. They work through problems like we do. They understand what you want from them. They mirror your entire emotional world back at you. That thing your pet does that you've always brushed off as just cute, it's not random behavior, it's emotional intelligence showing up in real time. Now here's where this gets tricky. If your pet understands your emotions this deeply, what are you unintentionally communicating to them every single day? Because here's the truth. Most pet owners are unintentionally creating stress, confusion, and emotional walls between themselves and their pets without having a clue. So before you go, take a moment today to observe your pet differently. Watch how they react to your mood, your energy, your presence. You might start noticing things you've completely missed your entire life. And if this opened your eyes, stay with me, because we're just getting started exploring the emotional world animals live in every single day.